Hi students, I would like to continue the lesson, the chromosomal basis of inheritance, under which we are talking about the replication of DNA in eukaryotes. Now for the continuation of the replication, we have to study something about what the plants lacking telomere clock. What is the meaning for that one? Now the telomere is nothing but the terminal end of the chromosome, where we have the DNA in the form of repetitive DNA sequences, unlike what we have other places. You know the repetitive DNA sequence, otherwise called the satellite DNA. So in the telomere region, we have repetitive DNA sequence, more repeats or several repeats of DNA nucleotide. Now there you have the division of the replication of the chromosome is taking place very fastly. Now, what's the meaning of plants lacking telomere clock? Now, plants' meristematic cells divide rapidly. What is the reason for that one? They have what is called telomerase enzyme. The telomerase enzyme making the meristematic cells, that is what is called unlimited ability to divide. So, the telomerase enzyme makes the meristematic cells just to divide unlimitedly. Now in plants, you know that one, the telomeres do not constrict, the telomeres do not shrink, as in the case of the somatic cells of vertebrates. In animals, in vertebrates, we have the telomeres normally undergo a process of shrinking, but here there is no shrinking of what is called the telomere in the case of plant cells. Now if you are taking the telomerase levels, in the case of what we have, that is in roots and seedlings, these two are what we have, the places where we have renewable tissues. These renewable tissues have higher amount of, that's what we have, the meristematic cells than the proliferative, that is structures like leaves. This is because of also telomerase levels which are higher, that stimulates the division of the meristematic cells faster, so that it is faster when compared to the proliferative structures like leaves. Now what is the special mechanism which replicates the chromosomal end, or we have the telomere? So there is a special mechanism for the replication of the chromosomal end. So after the replication of the remaining part of the chromosome, the enzyme telomerase adds several more repeats of DNA, repetitive sequence of DNA, that is to the telomeres. So here the telomere always we have the repetitive sequence of DNA. Now, telomerase normally uses a small segment of RNA or short molecular RNA as a template, and normally add several what is called the repeats onto the telomeres. So a small stretch of RNA is being used as a template by the telomerase enzyme, and then addition of what we have the repetitive sequences, or we have the repeats onto the telomeres. This is a special mechanism what we have actually added in the case of what we have the terminal end of the chromosome, and that process called DNA nucleotide polymerization. Repetitive sequence formation occurs at the telomeres. This is because of the effect of what we call the telomerase enzyme, which adds repeat sequences more and more. That's a special mechanism happening only at the terminal end, not in the entire chromosome. Only the telomerase acts, which produces a repetitive sequence of DNA. So that we have what is called the DNA nucleotide polymerization occurs. That's about the special mechanism. 2 marks question. What is the special mechanism which normally replicates the end of the chromosome, that is nothing but the telomere? If you are observing the telomere sequence of Arabidopsis thaliana, the common name for this one, tailcrest, mustard family member, having 10 chromosomes, and this is the telomere sequence. At the end of the chromosome we have TTT, that is triple T, E and triple G. That is a telomere sequence observed in the case of, that is Arabidopsis. Now let's go for what are the sources of energy for DNA replication, that is energetics of DNA replication. Now the deoxyribonucleotides in the form of deoxyadenosine triphosphate, what we have normally DATP, then guanosine triphosphate, deoxyguanosine triphosphate, deoxythymidine actually triphosphate, then deoxycytidine triphosphate. These are the four which provide energy for the synthesis of DNA. Now, what is the purpose of deoxyribonucleotides? The purpose here referring to nothing but the functional role, the significance. Now, they have dual functions. One function acts as a substrate. By the addition of these nucleotides only, deoxynucleotides only, deoxyribonucleotides only, we have the formation of a long chain of DNA. So they act as substrates. One of the importance, one of the significance, one of the purpose. Secondly, they provide energy for polymerization to form a long strand of DNA. See, they provide energy in the form of these forms. So source of energy, source of substrate. That is the main purpose of what we have, the deoxyribonucleotides. Now we already studied semi-conservative method of replication as proved experimentally by Matthew Michelson and Franklin Stahl. And this actually semi-conservative method of replication was proposed by Leonard von Watson and Crick, but experimentally proved by Matthew Michelson and Franklin Stahl. Okay, Michelson and Stahl experiment. Now here the same experiment is also conducted by three people. Normally it's called Taylor's experiment. He conducted an experiment in a plant what is called Vicia Fabia. So Vicia Faba, I made a mistake, Vicia Faba. This is normally called Faba beans. They are used, you see that one heavy nitrogen as an isotope, you know that one, the replication of DNA, semi-conservative method. Here Taylor along with his colleagues used what is called heavy nitrogen thymidine radioactive isotope. Heavy nitrogen radioactive isotope. That is a radioactive isotope in the form of thymidine. He used thymidine. Now three different people. Number one, J. Herbert Taylor. Number two, Philip Woods. And number three, Walter Hughes. They demonstrated actually DNA replication. Okay. In root cells of Vicia Faba, normally called Faba beans. What are the methods, steps involved in just finding out the semi-conservative method of replication? What they performed in the form of experiment in the root cells of Vicia Faba. You'll see the steps involved, what they did to conclude semi-conservative method of replication. So semi-conservative method of replication was proved, you know that one, with the Michelson and Franklin Stahl. There in the case of actually E. coli bacterium, here in the case of Vicia Faba, Faba beans, that is mainly Taylor conducted experiment just to prove the semi-conservative method of replication. Let's see the steps involved. Taylor and his colleagues did experiments on what we have the Faba beans. Now what were the steps involved in Taylor's experiment? First, the DNA was labeled. That is where they are taking the root tips of what we have the Faba beans, and the DNA was labeled with what we have heavy nitrogen thymidine isotope, a radioactive isotope, a radioactive precursor of DNA, and they perform autoradiography. Autoradiography means taking the X-rays to find out the image. What is the nature of the image? So they label DNA with what is called heavy nitrogen thymidine, a radioactive precursor of DNA, and perform autoradiography after just they are being labeled. Now first step after doing that one, they grew root tips in a medium in the presence of radioactive thymidine. What's the result? If you are just continuously growing the cells of the root tips in a medium with radioactive labeled thymidine, it is being incorporated in the DNA molecule of these cells. That's the main purpose. They are growing for a number of generations and obtain what we have a cell with the chromosomes. The chromosomes, in that chromosomes, the DNA was labeled with radioactive thymidine. That's the purpose. So they grew root tips in a medium in the presence of radioactive labeled thymidine. So the radioactivity was incorporated into the DNA of these cells. That's the main purpose. Now the DNA is labeled. Now, how did actually the chromosomes appear? Once they were labeled with radioactive thymidine, they just did that one, they explained. The outline of these labeled chromosomes appear in the form of what we have black spots, scattered black spots with silver grains on what we call the photographic film, or we can say that is on a radioactive, that's also the image. So on a radioactive, that is autoradiography, or in a photographic film, they observed the labeled chromosomes in the form of scattered black spots with the silver grains. Then, after that one, they transfer the rotative cells. Actually, the labeled chromosome, they transfer the rotative cells and the labeled chromosomes to another medium without what is called radioactive thymidine. That medium is called unlabeled medium. But the medium contains a mutagenic agent, what is called colchicine. The function of the colchicine is to stop the cell division at metaphase stage. If you want to study the nature of the chromosome, that is karyotyping, you have to stop the cell division at metaphase. That's why they have taken the medium. The medium is unlabeled medium without radioactive thymidine but contains colchicine. What for? To arrest the culture at a metaphase stage. Then they observed the nature of the chromosomes, that is under what is called autoradiography. Okay, so what were the observations made by them? They just, as per the book, given two observations. You'll write on the observation and also the nature of the chromosomes. So what were the observations made by Taylor and his colleagues in Visia Faber, that's a Faber beans. Now first they grew the root cells in a medium with that is what is called radioactive isotope thymidine. This is called labeled thymidine. They grew the root cells in a medium with what is called thymidine. So that what will happen, the DNA was incorporated with the radioactivity in these cells. Then they transferred these cells with the labeled chromosomes into a medium, the one which contains, that is what is called actually the removed thymidine from that medium. That's otherwise called as unlabeled medium. They transferred what we have, the chromosomes or the cells with the labeled chromosomes in the medium which is unlabeled without any what is called actually radioactivity, and also added colchicine to stop the cell division. So after that only they made the observations. Observation number 1. In the chromosomes of first generation here, which was grown in a medium with the labeled radioactive thymidine, that is considered as the first generation here as per the syllabus, as per the book. So in the chromosomes of first generation, the radioactivity was found distributed in both the chromatids, 1, 2. These two are the chromatids. These two are the chromatids. So the radioactive thymidine was found to be distributed in both the chromatids of what is called the first generation chromosomes. But in the second generation of chromosomes, you see that one, we have grown the cells in an unlabeled medium. That's why we have found only the cells with what is called hybrid DNA molecules. Okay, hybrid DNA molecules. So this is what is called the chromosome with one chromatid. Only one of the chromatids only what we have radioactive label, and another one, the black color one, is unlabeled one. Likewise here also, these two are the daughter chromosomes with what we have one chromatid with labeled what is called radioactive thymidine, another one without what is called labeled radioactive thymidine. So during the next generation we are receiving, so normally the number is increasing geometrically during the duplication of the cells, during the duplication of chromosomes, during the duplication of DNA. Here what is happening, in the first generation we have 1, the second generation we are getting 2 chromosomes, and which are being multiplied to increase what we have, the 4 chromosomes. Out of the 4 chromosomes, 50% of the chromosomes are actually non-labeled. These 2 chromosomes are non-labeled, the black colored ones. The remaining 2, one with what is called radioactive labeling, another one with what is called the normal one. The red color one is with radioactive, the black color one is without radioactivity. So this is called hybrid chromosome, or you can say hybrid DNA. So likewise the number of what is called the chromosomes with unlabeling without radioactive thymidine increasing steadily geometrically, what is studied in the case of semi-conservative method of replication as seen in the case of E. coli bacterium conducted by measles and installed. Here only a simple diagram is given in the botany book. So first generation, because it was grown in a medium with what's called radioactive thymidine, all the chromosomes are radioactive thymidine. Then the second generation, as a medium without radioactive thioprene, we are getting only the hybrid. See, only one chromatid with radioactivity, another chromatid is without radioactivity. This is because non-labeling or unlabeled structure. Now the next generation we are getting 4, the number is increasing. So out of the 4, 2 of them are non-labeled and one with one chromatid label and another one is non-labeled. And then last one also one chromatid label, another one is non-labeled. So tell me what's happening. So in the chromosome of first generation, the radioactivity was found to be distributed to both the chromatids because the original strand of DNA double helix was actually labeled with radioactivity, and the original strand was unlabeled. Now in the chromosomes of second generation, the original strand means here I want to change that one, the new strand, not the original strand. The original strand is labeled. You can take that one. The new strand was unlabeled. The newly formed strand was unlabeled. You see that one, the black colored one. So in the chromosomes of second generation, only one of the chromatids in each chromosome was labeled. Here you see that one was labeled, another one was unlabeled. The red one is a labeled one, the black color is what is called unlabeled one. So this proves the semi-conservative method of replication as proposed by actually Taylors along with colleagues. Now here in a book given in a simple way, but actually it's an elaborated one. As we have already studied the replication process, semi-conservative method in zoology in a brief way. So you have to follow the same one here with 1 or 2 points one. Okay, right. So with that I concluded about what we have the replication process. The next even normally what we have the protein synthesis.